Mindfulness for me is about returning to the center. So it's about returning to the center of my being and connecting to the divine center at the heart of all things. And when I return to the center of my being, then I'm more able to be present to myself and therefore present to other people and to be more compassionate. I find that my mind's a bit clearer. I'm able to stay with things that are difficult, and I'm also able to be a little lighter, to have a lightness of touch because there's more perspective.
We've been offering mindfulness drop-in sessions at Chaplaincy Center for the last 6 years, and it's really interesting. I've noticed even just few weeks of doing these sessions, students have come back to us and said their focus has improved, their concentration has improved, they find themselves more alert and awake, and also emotional benefits as well, because we have students from all over the world studying at the university, so there's a lot of demands and challenges they encounter. So having done these practices, they have found it helpful in cultivating acceptance and kindness and resilience towards themselves and also towards others. So it has benefits in a number of different fronts: physical, emotional and mental.
I have been working on human rights back home in Colombia for several years, and because of this type of sensitive work, I have been always wondering how to take care of myself in order to have the strength to keep working. And I have found pretty helpful to have this space, like to clean myself weekly to keep me going. I always need that to be able to work, because if not, sometimes you just get so overwhelmed. I arrived here for the first time because I was struggling personally with setting in the city. You know, it was a new city. I'm an overseas student. Back home I was trying to do it by myself, but I have always had this busy mind and I always need like some guidance. So when I found this space, I was so happy, because I needed that guidance to help me through this change in my life. So that's why I end up here. Like, I was looking for it and I found it online. I came here and it started to help me a lot, just to keep calm, be patient, accept whatever is coming, you know, and just watch it and don't struggle with it.
This is the highlight of my university experience, probably. It kind of gets me through it, because it can get pretty stressful at times. I try to come on a regular basis when I can, and I'm a nursing student, and the biology behind the nursing can get heavy going sometimes, so this kind of gives me a break from it, and not only for the whole uni but for my personal life too. I find that it grounds me and it helps me to be much more, I don't know, acceptant and grateful to an extent. We just release myself and let it flow the way it's supposed to go.
The mindfulness sessions, they offer like a space of calmness and of peace in quite a busy, frenetic student life. And it's just like quite a grounding thing to do every week. It's just a way of kind of touching ground on a regular basis. And I've been doing it for 3 years now, since first year. What I've managed to develop the most is being patient with myself while doing it. Because I remember definitely in first year feeling very frustrated every time I came to meditate, and my mind just kept going onto different thoughts and things. And I remember being very frustrated and angry at myself. And I think that's something that I've actually developed a lot, is being able to just be kind to myself and compassionate. this is also something that I guess I've realized through the mindfulness practices, is that they go hand in hand. Kindness for oneself and kindness for others.
I've really enjoyed sort of having it as a routine, as a regular thing for me on Fridays, because I think after every session I feel much more serene and relaxed. I walk out of the room almost floating, and I think sort of knowing that every Friday this is on, it's been quite helpful for me. I'm aware that there's quite a lot of work being done studying stuff like patterns of brain activity when people meditate and sort of long-term positive effects of meditation. And the space, the chaplaincy, is very inviting, and it's a very safe place to come and meditate.
Different mindfulness teachers and practitioners have a different way of describing mindfulness, what we would say working definition of mindfulness. So Professor John Kabat-Zinn, who started mindfulness-based stress reduction programs in Massachusetts Medical School in 1970s. He describes mindfulness as a particular way of paying attention, systematic way of paying attention on purpose in the present moment. And the important aspect that I feel about this is, he says, without being judgmental, so paying attention in a particular way on purpose. So there's intention involved, it's deliberate, one chooses to pay attention, and it's without judgmental, or to put it in positive terms, it's with acceptance. Professor Mark Williams, who is a cognitive behavior therapist, and he and his colleagues, they started mindfulness-based cognitive therapy programs, interventions. And now he describes mindfulness as awareness. So it's knowing what is happening as it is actually happening. And I have my working definition of mindfulness. So in a nutshell, I describe it as a kind way of paying attention, or an open way of attending the present moment. Although these different teachers are talking about mindfulness in different way, they're all pointing towards, I would say, three main ingredients when they come together. Attending, they're talking about intention and attitude. For me, kindness is a big aspect of mindfulness. So if we take kindness out of mindfulness, it's not mindfulness. And in fact, I prefer the word heartfulness to mindfulness, because in mind, in meditative contemplative traditions where the roots of mindfulness is, the meaning of the word mind is often understood as heart. Chitta, the word that we use in India, means heart-mind. So there's a huge emphasis on heart, or kindness and compassion in mindfulness.
We're in the George Square Gardens, which is a beautiful oasis at the centre of a very busy university. The chaplaincy facilitated the building of this labyrinth here a number of years ago. And the labyrinth, and walking the labyrinth, is an ancient spiritual practice that is also about returning to the centre. You walk into the centre and then you walk out again on exactly the same path. And I find when I'm walking the labyrinth that it's helpful to me in terms of mindfulness. I'm very aware of the ground under my feet sustaining me. I'm very aware of the greens, the different shades, of the breeze in the trees, nature around me, of the birds, of the clouds moving across the sky. And so it helps me to return to my centre. And when I'm finished walking the labyrinth, I'm more able to be present to myself and to others in a much more compassionate way.